airport terminal after learning that my flight had been delayed for 4 hours when I heard the following announcement. If anyone in the vicinity of gate A4 understands Arabic, please come to the gate immediately. Well, it was 2008. Not the best of times to be an Arab American, so I hesitated. But after all, A4 was my own gate, so I overcame my reluctance and I went there. When I arrived, I saw an older woman dressed in full traditional Palestinian embroidered clothing, just like my grandma wore, crumpled to the floor, wailing. Please, said the flight agent, talk to her, find out what the problem is. We told her the flight was delayed and she did this. I stooped down to put my arm around her, and trying it in the best Arabic I could muster, I said, Shudawa, Shubatu Habibti, Stani Shweni Fadlik, Shubitsi. Well, as soon as she heard some words that she recognized, however poorly used, the woman stopped crying. It turned out that she thought the flight had been canceled entirely. She was due in El Paso the next day for major medical treatment. No, Habibti, you're fine. You'll get there just a little bit later. Who's picking you up at the airport? Let's call them. We called her son, and I spoke to him in English, explained what happened, and said, I'll stay with your mother till we board the plane, and I'll sit next to her on the flight. Then she spoke to her son. After that, just for the fun of it, we called her other sons. And then I called my father, and he spoke to her in Arabic for a long time. And of course, they had 10 acquaintances in common. Then, for the heck of it, I called a Palestinian poet I happened to know, and he spoke to her. All of this took about 2 hours. By then, she was smiling a lot, and she was talking about her life, patting me on the knee, and answering questions. She had pulled from her bag a sack full of homemade ma'amul cookies, little crumbly powdered sugar mounds filled with chopped nuts and dates. And she was offering them to all the other women at the gate. To my surprise, no one declined. It was like a sacrament. The traveler from Argentina, the mom from California, the lovely woman from Laredo, we were all covered with the same powdered sugar and smiling. There is no better cookie. About that time, the airline broke out free apple juice in 2 large coolers. 2 little girls from our flight started serving all of the people at the gate, and soon they too were covered with powdered sugar. I noticed that my new best friend, by now we were holding hands, had a potted plant poking out of her bag, some medicinal thing with furry green leaves. And I thought to myself, such an old country tradition. Always carry a plant. Always stay rooted to someplace. And I looked around the gate full of late and weary travelers, And I thought, this is the world I want to live in, the shared world. Nobody at that gate, after the first confusion settled down, seemed apprehensive of anyone else. They all took the cookies. I wanted to put my arm around every one of those women. This can still happen anywhere. Not everything is lost.